Making of the Constitution. Demand for a Constituent Assembly was in 1934 that the idea of a Constituent Assembly for India was put forward for the first time by M.N. Roy, a pioneer of communist movement in India. In 1935, the Indian National Congress, INC, for the first time, officially demanded a Constituent Assembly to frame the Constitution of India. In 1938, Jawaharlal Nehru, on behalf of the INC, declared that the Constitution of Free India must be framed, without outside interference, by a Constituent Assembly elected on the basis of adult franchise. The demand was finally accepted in principle by the British government in what is known as the August Offer of 1940. In 1942, Sir Stafford Cripps, a member of the cabinet, came to India with a draft proposal of the British government on the framing of an independent constitution to be adopted after the World War II. The Cripps proposals were rejected by the Muslim League, which wanted India to be divided into two autonomous states with two separate constituent assemblies. Finally, a cabinet mission was sent to India. While it rejected the idea of two constituent assemblies, it put forth a scheme for the Constituent Assembly which more or less satisfied the Muslim League. Composition of the Constituent Assembly. Join our Telegram channel https://t.me/upsc materials for instant updates. The Constituent Assembly was constituted in November 1946 under the scheme formulated by the Cabinet Mission Plan. The features of the scheme were: 1. The total strength of the Constituent Assembly was to be 389. Of these, 296 seats were to be allotted to British India and 93 seats to the princely states. Out of 296 seats allotted to the British India, 292 members were to be drawn from the 11 governors' provinces 2 and 4 from the 4 chief commissioners' provinces 3, 1 from each. To each province and princely state, or group of states in case of small states, were to be allotted seats in proportion to their respective population. Roughly, 1 seat was to be allotted for every million population. 3 seats allocated to each British province were to be divided among the 3 principal communities, Muslims, Sikhs and general, all except Muslims and Sikhs, in proportion to their population. 4. The representatives of each community were to be elected by members of that community in the Provincial Legislative Assembly, and voting was to be by the method of proportional representation by means of single transferable vote. 5. The representatives of princely states were to be nominated by the heads of the princely states. It is thus clear that the Constituent Assembly was to be a partly elected and partly nominated body. Moreover, the members were to be indirectly elected by the members of the provincial assemblies, who themselves were elected on a limited franchise for. The elections to the Constituent Assembly, for 296 seats allotted to the British Indian provinces, were held in July-August 1946. The Indian National Congress won 208 seats, the Muslim League 73 seats, and the small groups and independents got the remaining 15 seats. However, the 93 seats allotted to the princely states were not filled as they decided to stay away from the Constituent Assembly. Although the Constituent Assembly was not directly elected by the people of India on the basis of adult franchise, the Assembly comprised representatives of all sections of Indian society: Hindus, Muslims, Sikhs, Parsis, Anglo-Indians, Indian Christians, SCs, STs including women of all. Join our Telegram channel https://t.me/upsc materials for instant updates. These sections. The Assembly included all important personalities of India at that time, with the exception of Mahatma Gandhi. Working of the Constituent Assembly. The Constituent Assembly held its first meeting on 9 December 1946. The Muslim League boycotted the meeting and insisted on a separate state of Pakistan. The meeting was thus attended by only 211 members. Dr. Sachchidanand Sinha, the oldest member, was elected as the temporary president of the Assembly, following the French practice. Later, Dr. Rajendra Prasad was elected as the president of the Assembly. Similarly, both H.C. Mukherjee and V.T. Krishnamachari were elected as the vice presidents of the Assembly. In other words, the Assembly had two vice presidents. Objectives Resolution on 13 December 1946, Jawaharlal Nehru moved the historic Objectives Resolution in the Assembly. It laid down the fundamentals and philosophy of the constitutional structure. It read, 1. This Constituent Assembly declares its firm and solemn resolve to proclaim India as an independent sovereign republic and to draw up for her future governance a constitution, 2. Wherein the territories that now comprise British India, the territories that now form the Indian states, and such other parts of India as are outside India and the states as well as other territories as are willing to be constituted into the independent sovereign India, shall be a union of them all, and 3. Wherein the said territories, whether with their present boundaries or with such others as may be determined by the Constituent Assembly and thereafter according to the law of the Constitution, shall possess and retain the status of autonomous units together with residuary powers and exercise all powers and functions of government and administration save and except such powers and functions as are vested in or assigned to the Union or as are inherent or implied in the Union or resulting therefrom. Join our Telegram channel https://t.me/upsc materials for instant updates. And 4. Wherein all power and authority of the sovereign independent India, its constituent parts and organs of government are derived from the people, and 5. Wherein shall be guaranteed and secured to all the people of India justice, social, economic and political, equality of status of opportunity, and before the law, freedom of thought, expression, belief, faith, worship, vocation, association and action, subject to law and public morality, and 6. Wherein adequate safeguards shall be provided for minorities, backward and tribal areas, and depressed and other backward classes, and 7. Whereby shall be maintained the integrity of the territory of the Republic and its sovereign rights on land, sea and air according to justice and the law of civilized nations, and 8. This ancient land attains its rightful and honored place in the world and makes its full and willing contribution to the promotion of world peace and the welfare of mankind. This resolution was unanimously adopted by the Assembly on 22 January 1947. It influenced the eventual shaping of the Constitution through all its subsequent stages. Its modified version forms the preamble of the present Constitution. Changes by the Independence Act. The representatives of the princely states, who had stayed away from the Constituent Assembly, gradually joined it. On 28 April 1947, representatives of the 6 states 5 were part of the Assembly. After the acceptance of the Mountbatten Plan of 3 June 1947 for a partition of the country, the representatives of most of the other princely states took their seats in the Assembly. The members of the Muslim League from the Indian Dominion also entered the Assembly. The Indian Independence Act of 1947 made the following 3 changes in the position of the Assembly. 1. The Assembly was made a fully sovereign body, which could frame any constitution it pleased. The Act empowered the Assembly to abrogate or alter any law made by the British Parliament in relation to India. Join our Telegram channel https://t.me/upsc materials for instant updates. 2. The Assembly also became a legislative body. In other words, 2 separate functions were assigned to the Assembly, that is, making of a constitution for free India and enacting of ordinary laws for the country. These 2 tasks were to be performed on separate days. Thus, the Assembly became the first Parliament of Free India, Dominion Legislature. Whenever the Assembly met as the constituent body, it was chaired by Dr. Rajendra Prasad, and when it met as the legislative body 6, it was chaired by G.V. Mavlankar. These 2 functions continued till 26 November 1949, when the task of making the constitution was over. 3. The Muslim League members, hailing from the areas 7 included in the Pakistan, withdrew from the Constituent Assembly for India. Consequently, the total strength of the assembly came down to 299 as against 389 originally fixed in 1946 under the Cabinet Mission Plan. The strength of the Indian provinces, formerly British provinces, was reduced from 296 to 229 and those of the princely states from 93 to 70. The stateways membership of the Assembly as on 31st December 1947 is shown in Table 2.4 at the end of this chapter. Other functions performed in addition to the making of the Constitution and enacting of ordinary laws, the Constituent Assembly also performed the following functions. 1. It ratified the India's membership of the Commonwealth in May 1949. 2. It adopted the national flag on 22nd July 1947. 3. It adopted the national anthem on 24th January 1950. 4. It adopted the national song on 24th January 1950. 5. It elected Dr. Rajendra Prasad as the first President of India on 24th January 1950. In all, the Constituent Assembly had 11 sessions over 2 years, 11 months and 18 days. The constitution makers had gone through the constitutions of about 60 countries, and the draft constitution was considered for 114 days. The total expenditure incurred on making the constitution amounted to 64 lakh. On 24th January 1950, the Constituent Assembly held its final session. It, however, did not end, and continued as the Provisional Parliament of India. Join our Telegram channel https://t.me/upsc materials for instant updates. From 26 January 1950 till the formation of new Parliament 8 after the first general elections in 1951-52. Committees of the Constituent Assembly. The Constituent Assembly appointed a number of committees to deal with different tasks of constitution making. Out of these, 8 were major committees and the others were minor committees. The names of these committees and their chairmen are given below. Major committees: 1. Union Powers Committee Jawaharlal Nehru. 2. Union Constitution Committee Jawaharlal Nehru. 3. Provincial Constitution Committee Sardar Patel. 4. Drafting Committee Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. 5. Advisory Committee on Fundamental Rights, Minorities and Tribal and Excluded Areas Sardar Patel. This committee had the following 5 subcommittees: A. Fundamental Rights Subcommittee J.B. Kripalani. B. Minorities Subcommittee H.C. Mukherjee. C. Northeast Frontier Tribal Areas and Assam Excluded and Partially Excluded Areas Subcommittee Gopinath Bardoloi. D. Excluded and Partially Excluded Areas, other than those in Assam, Subcommittee A.V. Thakur. E. Northwest Frontier Tribal Areas Subcommittee 8-6. Rules of Procedure Committee Dr. Rajendra Prasad. 7. States Committee, Committee for Negotiating with States, Jawaharlal Nehru. 8. Steering Committee Dr. Rajendra Prasad. Minor Committees: 1. Finance and Staff Committee Dr. Rajendra Prasad. 2. Credentials Committee Alladi Krishnaswamy Iyer. 3. House Committee B. Pattavi Sitaramaya. Join our Telegram channel https://t.me/upsc materials for instant updates. 4. Order of Business Committee Dr. K.M. Munshi. 5. Ad Hoc Committee on the National Flag Dr. Rajendra Prasad. 6. Committee on the Functions of the Constituent Assembly G.V. Mavlankar. 7. Ad Hoc Committee on the Supreme Court S. Vardachari, not an Assembly member. 8. Committee on Chief Commissioners Provinces B. Pattavi Sitaramaya. 9. Expert Committee on the Financial Provisions of the Union Constitution Nalini Ranjan Sarkar, not an Assembly member. 10. Linguistic Provinces Commission S. Kedar, not an Assembly member. 11. Special Committee to examine the draft Constitution Jawaharlal Nehru. 12. Press Gallery Committee Usha Nath Sen. 13. Ad Hoc Committee on Citizenship S. Vardachari. Drafting Committee. Among all the committees of the Constituent Assembly, the most important committee was the Drafting Committee set up on 29 August 1947. It was this committee that was entrusted with the task of preparing a draft of the new constitution. It consisted of 7 members. They were: 1. Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, Chairman; 2. N. Gopalaswamy Iyengar 3. Alladi Krishnaswamy Iyer 4. Dr. K. M. Munshi 5. Sayyid Muhammad Sadullah 6. N. Madhava Roy, he replaced B. L. Mitta who resigned due to ill health. 7. T. T. Krishnamachari, he replaced D. P. Ketan who died in 1948. The drafting committee, after taking into consideration the proposals of the various committees, prepared the first draft of the Constitution of India, which was published in February 1948. The people of India were given 8 months to discuss the draft and propose amendments. In the light of the public comments, criticisms and suggestions, the drafting committee prepared a second draft, which was published in October 1948. The drafting committee took less than 6 months to prepare its draft. Join our Telegram channel https://t.me/upsc materials for instant updates. All it sat only for 141 days. Enactment of the Constitution. Dr. B.R. Ambedkar introduced the final draft of the Constitution in the Assembly on 4 November 1948, first reading. The Assembly had a general discussion on it for 5 days, till 9 November 1948. The second reading, clause-by-clause consideration, started on 15 November 1948 and ended on 17 October 1949. During this stage, as many as 7,653 amendments were proposed and 2,473 were actually discussed in the Assembly. The third reading of the draft started on 14 November 1949. Dr. B.R. Ambedkar moved a motion, the Constitution as settled by the Assembly be passed. The motion on draft Constitution was declared as passed on 26 November 1949, and received the signatures of the members and the President. Out of a total 299 members of the Assembly, only 284 were actually present on that day and signed the Constitution. This is also the date mentioned in the preamble as the date on which the people of India in the Constituent Assembly adopted, enacted and gave to themselves this Constitution. The Constitution as adopted on 26 November 1949, contained a preamble, 395 articles and 8 schedules. The preamble was enacted after the entire Constitution was already enacted. Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, the then Law Minister, piloted the draft Constitution in the Assembly. He took a very prominent part in the deliberations of the Assembly. He was known for his logical, forceful and persuasive arguments on the floor of the Assembly. He is recognized as the father of the Constitution of India. This brilliant writer, constitutional expert, undisputed leader of the scheduled castes and the chief architect of the Constitution of India, is also known as a modern Manu. Enforcement of the Constitution. Some provisions of the Constitution pertaining to citizenship, elections, provisional parliament, temporary and transitional provisions, and short title. Join our Telegram channel https://t.me/upsc materials for instant updates. Contained in Articles 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 60, 324, 366, 367, 379, 380, 388, 391, 392 and 393 came into force on 26 November 1949 itself. The remaining provisions, the major part, of the Constitution came into force on 26 January 1950. This day is referred to in the Constitution as the date of its commencement, and celebrated as the Republic Day. January 26 was specifically chosen as the date of commencement of the Constitution because of its historical importance. It was on this day in 1930 that Purna Swaraj Day was celebrated, following the resolution of the Lahore session, December 1929, of the INC. With the commencement of the Constitution, the Indian Independence Act of 1947 and the Government of India Act of 1935, with all enactments amending or supplementing the latter act, were repealed. The Abolition of Privy Council Jurisdiction Act, 1949, was however continued. Criticism of the Constituent Assembly. The critics have criticized the Constituent Assembly on various grounds. These are as follows. 1. Not a representative body. The critics have argued that the Constituent Assembly was not a representative body as its members were not directly elected by the people of India on the basis of universal adult franchise. 2. Not a sovereign body. The critics maintained that the Constituent Assembly was not a sovereign body as it was created by the proposals of the British government. Further, they said that the Assembly held its sessions with the permission of the British government. 3. Time consuming. According to the critics, the Constituent Assembly took unduly long time to make the Constitution. They stated that the framers of the American Constitution took only 4 months to complete their work. In this context, Naziruddin Ahmed, a member of the Constituent Assembly, coined a new name for the drafting committee to show his contempt for it. He called it a drifting committee. 4. Dominated by Congress. The critics charged that the Constituent Assembly was dominated by the Congress Party. Granville Austin, a British constitutional expert, remarked, "The Constituent Assembly was a one-party body in an essentially one-party country." The Assembly was join our Telegram channel https://t.me/UPSC materials for instant updates. The Congress and the Congress was India 9. 5. Lawyer-politician domination. It is also maintained by the critics that the Constituent Assembly was dominated by lawyers and politicians. They pointed out that other sections of the society were not sufficiently represented. This, to them, is the main reason for the bulkiness and complicated language of the Constitution. 6. Dominated by Hindus. According to some critics, the Constituent Assembly was a Hindu-dominated body. Lord Viscount Simon called it a body of Hindus. Similarly, Winston Churchill commented that the Constituent Assembly represented only one major community in India. Important facts. 1. Elephant was adopted as the symbol, seal, of the Constituent Assembly. 2. Sir Birendra was appointed as the constitutional advisor, legal advisor, to the Constituent Assembly. 3. H.V.R. Iyengar was the secretary to the Constituent Assembly. 4. S.N. Mukherjee was the chief draftsman of the Constitution in the Constituent Assembly. 5. Prem Bihari Narayan Rijada was the calligrapher of the Indian Constitution. The original Constitution was handwritten by him in a flowing italic style. 6. The original version was beautified and decorated by artists from Shantiniketan including Nand Lal Bose and Biohar Ram Manohar Sinha. 7. Biohar Ram Manohar Sinha illuminated, beautified and ornamented the original preamble calligraphed by Prem Bihari Narayan Rijada. 8. The calligraphy of the Hindi version of the original Constitution was done by Vasant Krishan Vedya and elegantly decorated and illuminated by Nand Lal Bose. Table 2.1 Allocation of seats in the Constituent Assembly of India, 1946, SL.No. Areas. Seats. 1. British Indian Provinces, 11, 292. 2. Princely States, Indian States, 93. Join our Telegram channel https://t.me/UPSC materials for instant updates.
3 Chief Commissioners Provinces,
4. Total 389. Table 2.2 Results of the elections to the Constituent Assembly, July-August 1946, SL.No. Name of the party. Seats. 1. Congress 208. 2. Muslim League 73. 3. Unionist Party 1. Unionist Muslims 1. Unionist Scheduled Castes 1. Krishak Praja Party 1. Scheduled Castes Federation 1. 6. Non-Congress 1. Communist Party 1. Independents 8. Total 296. Table 2.3 Community-wise representation in the Constituent Assembly, 1946, SL.No. Community strength 1. Hindus 163. 2. Muslims 83. Scheduled castes 31. 4. Indian Christians 6 join our Telegram channel https://t.me/upsc materials for instant updates. 5 Backward Tribes 6 647. Anglo-Indians 38. Parsas 3 total 296 Table 2.4 Stateways Membership of the Constituent Assembly of India as on 31st December 1947 S.No. Name No of members A Provinces, Indian Provinces, 2291. Madras 49-2. Bombay 21-3. West Bengal 19-4. United Provinces 55-5. East Punjab 12-6. Bihar 36-7. CP and Beira 17-8. Assam 8-9. Orissa 9-10. Delhi 1-11. Ajmer Mewara 1-12. Cooled 1B Indian States, Princely States, 71. Alva 1 join our Telegram channel https://t.me/upsc materials for instant updates. 2 Baroda 33. Bhopal 14. Bikaner 15. Cochin 16. Gwalior 47. Indore 18. Jaipur 39. Jodhpur 210. Kolhapur 111. Kota 112. Mayurbhanj 113. Mysore 714. Patiala 215. Rewa 216. Travancore 617. Udaipur 218. Sikkim and Cooch Behar Group 119. Tripura, Manipur and Lhasa States Group 120. UP States Group 121. Eastern Rajputana States Group 322. Central India States Group, including Bundelkhand and Malwa, 323. Western India States Group 424. Gujarat States Group 2 join our Telegram channel https://t.me/upsc materials for instant updates. 25 Deccan and Madras States Group 226. Punjab States Group 327. Eastern States Group I428. Eastern States Group 2 329. Residuary States Group 4 total 299 Table 2.5 Sessions of the Constituent Assembly at a glance. Sessions period: First Session 9-23 December 1946, Second Session 20-25 January 1947, Third Session 28 April to May 1947, Fourth Session 14-31 July 1947, Fifth Session 14-30 August 1947, Sixth Session 27th January 1948, Seventh Session 4th November 1948 January 1949, Eighth Session 16 May 16 June 1949, Ninth Session 30 July 18 September 1949, 10th Session 6-17 October 1949, 11th Session 14-26 November 1949. Note: the Assembly met once again on 24 January 1950, when the members appended their signatures to the Constitution of India. Notes and references: 1. The Cabinet Mission, consisting of 3 members, Lord Pethick Lawrence, Sir Stafford Cripps and A.V. Alexander, arrived in India on join our Telegram channel https://t.me/upsc materials for instant updates. 24th March 1946. The Cabinet Mission published its plan on 16th May 1946. 2. These include Madras, Bombay, UP, Bihar, Central Provinces, Orissa, Punjab, NWFP, Sindh, Bengal and Assam. 3. These include Delhi, Ajmer Mewara, Cooled and British Baluchistan. 4. The Government of India Act of 1935 granted limited franchise on the basis of tax, property and education. 5. These include Baroda, Bikaner, Jaipur, Patiala, Rewa and Udaipur. 6. For the first time, the Constituent Assembly met as Dominion Legislature on 17 November 1947 and elected G.V. Madlankar as its Speaker. 7. These are West Punjab, East Bengal, NWFP, Sindh, Baluchistan and Sylhet district of Assam. A separate Constituent Assembly was set up for Pakistan. 8. The Provisional Parliament ceased to exist on 17 April 1952. The first elected parliament with the two houses came into being in May 1952. 8a. One of the political consequences of the British government's statement of 3 June 1947 was that following a referendum, the Northwest Frontier Province and Baluchistan became part of the territory of the Dominion of Pakistan, and as a result the tribal areas in this region became a concern of that Dominion. The subcommittee on the tribal areas in the Northwest Frontier Province and Baluchistan was not therefore called upon to function on behalf of the Constituent Assembly of India. B. Shiva Rao, The Framing of India's Constitution, Select Documents, Volume 3, p. 681. The members of this subcommittee were Khan Abdul Ghaffar Khan, Khan Abdul Samad Khan and Mehar Chand Khanna. The information about the chairman is not found.